at the running event last week, one of the shoes I was most excited to see is the Brooks Hyperion Max 2. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I did not love the Brooks Hyperion Max 1. I actually called this the David Goggins of running shoes because it stays hard. I have softened up a little bit on like this midsole toward this shoe because it is a shoe that, while it's not the most comfortable at slower paces, it's not the most comfortable for heel strikers, it does reward a fast, efficient stride when you're putting power down through the front of the shoe. So when I did see that Brooks Hyperion Max 2, I saw the stack height going up a little bit. I saw the plastic plate in there. I was super intrigued to learn more about the changes behind that shoe and also the overall revamp of the Brooks Hyperion line, because if you've been following running shoes for a while, you know that Brooks is not the sexiest, most exciting, most forward-thinking brand. However, this new Brooks Hyperion line looks like it's bringing the heat, so I was pumped to see them moving in a different direction. So at TRE, Nikhil Jain, one of their product directors who focuses on that Hyperion line and some of the other shoes, walked us through all the changes coming to those shoes. So in this video, I'm gonna bring you that footage, and I'll also give you some of my thoughts on how these shoes are going to be best used when they hit the market in 2024. Alright guys, so before we get into it today, I did want to mention the new Instagram account at Supwell Running. Please go give us a follow. I'm gonna be dumping all of my cool pictures from TRE there, and I'm also going to be doing a little giveaway. So go ahead and follow that account and shoot me a DM with your current training goals and plans. And at the end of this week, I'm gonna pick some winners to send some stuff to. Maybe I'll throw in one of these hobby jogger hats. So make sure you are following that channel. Alright, let's get into it. Alright guys, so first up in the new Brooks Hyperion line is the Brooks Hyperion Elite 4. This is a shoe that Nikhil and his team worked with Des Linden on developing, and it's going to be their new top tier marathon shoe debuting at the Olympic trials in Florida this February.
This is the Hyperion Elite 4. It's coming out at the Olympic marathon trials in Florida, so
nice.
1st of February. It's got new Flash V2 technology. It's a EVA and TPEE blend that is then nitrogen infused. That's our elite racing shoe for the marathons. We work with our athletes, Des Linden, CJ Albertson, work with them on that route, but then we bring a lot of that technology to everyday runners.
I'm super excited to see how this one runs. It's really interesting to me that they didn't decide to join the PIBA rat race. You have every brand now, it seems, jumping on the PIBA bandwagon. New Balance is doing it. A few others that weren't in the PIBA camp before are also moving toward PIBA. So I like to see Brooks doubling down on their own proprietary formula. I'm super excited to get this one on foot because I know a few of the last iterations of the shoe were pretty firm, as well as the Brooks Hyperion Max. So it does seem that Brooks is taking their audience's feedback and incorporating a bit of a softer feel into their fast shoes. I think one of the reasons we haven't seen brands double down on their non-PIBA proprietary compounds is because PIBA generally gets lab tested to be the most efficient compound. However, we have seen Adidas with that Lightstrike Pro TPEE and the Evo set a new world record, and we do know that some of these things are more about the plate geometry and the way the foam interacts with the runner's stride. So with these athletes on Brooks' roster like Des Linden and Josh Kerr just shredding records left and right over the past 5 years, they're definitely onto something. I think the biggest challenge for us recreational runners is understanding which one of these many great options on the market works best for us. Because if you look at a shoe like the Nike Vaporfly versus the Brooks Hyperion Elite versus the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, there are minor changes to these that, based on how heavy we are, how much we run, what our running background is, each one of these will work a little bit different for us. So over the next year or so, this is going to be one of my biggest projects, understanding how I can best communicate the subtle differences between these shoes to you all, and how I can understand what type of shoe is going to work best for what type of runner. Brands don't do a great job at communicating this right now, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more insight as I get more contacts with these brands into how we can best pick our race day shoe. Okay, next up here we have the Brooks Hyperion Max 2. This is the shoe that I was most excited about seeing, probably in all of TRE. They added a plate in there, stack height went up a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be a really competitive shoe to take on the Endorphin Speed 3, Mach X, and Boston 12.
Plated this time.
It's plated, so it's got this shoe has a carbon fiber Speedvault Plus plate that's designed down to the size level. This is a P-Bax Renew plate. It's not as aggressive by any means, so you got a little bit more of that flexibility, but you got a nice pop as well. And then this has that same DNA Flash V2, which is softer, more resilient, displaces more.
What's the stack height of this? Looks like it went up a little bit.
Yeah, so we went up by 4 millimeters. 36 in the heel, 28 in the forefoot.
Okay, cool.
Total stack.
This looks like it'd be a good long run shoe as well.
Oh yeah,
marathon training.
For sure. Like Des will do races and some training in the plated shoe, but she'll gonna switch to something which is less aggressive and use this shoe because it does have a plate, but it doesn't kind of stress the body as
harsh,
much. And then the materials on these shoes are softer, more versatile, more accessible, comfortable. That shoe is like 7.6 ounces. This is closer to 8.5.
So what I'm most excited about with the shoe is it's coming in at that 8.5 ounce range. If you look at a shoe like the Boston 12, that's above 9 ounces. A lot of these other high mileage trainers in this category of shoes also have weights that are a little bit more. This one looks like one of the most worthy competitors to that Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. And like I mentioned, with the Hyperion Elite 4, they are not moving toward a PIBA base in this shoe. So it is going to be really interesting to see how with 100% of this super foam in there, unlike the Mach X or Boston 12, which use EVA on the bottom layer, how this goes up against a shoe like the Speed 3. So I should be getting access to this in the next few months. So I will let you know how this compares to the Speed 3. Also how it compares to this Hyperion Max 2. I'm really hoping on foot it does have more of that softer energy return feel versus just that firm rockered underfoot feel that we got in the Hyperion Max 1. Guys, next up we have the Brooks Hyperion. Now when I saw the Brooks Hyperion, I instantly thought of the Hyperion Max. So I think a lot of you out there who really liked the Hyperion Max 1 and aren't too happy with the new changes like the higher stack height and the plate will be happy with what they did to the Hyperion.
Non-plated, still DNA Flash V2, so it's got the same foam, nice and soft. Some people absolutely prefer non-plated.
Yeah, this is what I would go for short intervals like 400s, 800s.
Depends on individual preference. Joshka, who won the 1500 meters world champion, he's on the track in this before he puts on his spikes. Nia Aiken is one something that's lower to the ground, so she's in the Hyperion.
You guys know I'm a big fan of flexibility. I always do that flex test when I do my reviews, and I was a huge fan of the New Balance Rebel V3 from the past year, and I think the Brooks Hyperion is going to be taking over that slot in the running shoe market as that fast, flexible, bouncy, non-plated shoe. The Rebel V4 is moving to a higher stack. They're adding some PIBA in there. It's gonna get a bit of a wider platform. So for runners out there who like that really true ground contact, more flexible platform, Brooks Hyperion is probably one of the best options on the market. Now the Saucony Convara used to be that option for a lot of runners maybe 5 years ago when it was at the peak of its powers, but it's still using EVA. It's not the most exciting ride. I did see the Convara 15, and it's not gonna be able to compete with a shoe like this in terms of energy return and speed. All right guys, last in the Hyperion line here, he also walked me through their spikes. I didn't run cross country in high school or college, but I know a lot of you guys out there are cross country athletes. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Matt Meadows on Strava. I see you putting in the work. So if you are interested in spikes or just want to learn the newest about the spike tech, here you go.
This is our middle distance spike. Again, similar upper as the Hyperion Elite. So it's kind of like this extreme speed fit upper. And we got like a carbon composite plate. We actually top loaded that plate on this spike because 800 meters, you're on your toes, force activates the Flash V2 foam, and then you just have a traction plate. This is the secret sauce where we brought the foam through the plate. We did that both on this spike as well as the long distance spike, and that really activates the foam. We get more foam under the foot, especially in the forefoot, and that's the long distance spike. And we did a cool, if this was a right, that would have the same branding. So if you're the outfield looking in onto the track, you see the Brooks. If you're on the infield looking on the track, you see the path. So that's a cool element. But these are obviously already been out in the market. Athletes competed in them at the World Championship.
Again, I'm not the biggest spike guy, but if you are a cross-country athlete, let me know what you think about these changes. I'd love to get a little bit more into the spike world and understand some of the footwear a bit better. As of now, I've been laser focused on the road. Let me know your thoughts, insight, and analysis on some of these changes coming to those Hyperion spikes. All right, guys, so there we have it today. Do not forget to go follow the Suppwall Running channel. I'm gonna be putting a bunch more exclusive pictures from TRE up there. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.